what do you think of my body? No, be honest. Tell me, what do you really think? And does it bother you that they use it to get you to stop scrolling and to comment and to engage? Does it feel weird that, oh, Keelan, he's here to talk about deep spiritual things, but at the same time, he's shirtless and or naked and feels conflictory? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? You know, when I first started posting back in 2020 on my YouTube channel, I was always shirtless and or naked. But what was very different is back then, I weighed 160 pounds, 170 pounds, so about 60, 70 pounds less than I do right now. It's a big difference. You know, when you're a skinny yoga guy, showing up shirtless and or without clothes on, it's boundary pushing. It's reclaiming your body as sacred. It's doing something different. It doesn't read as necessarily hypersexualized. But when you have somebody who's clearly been investing a lot of time and energy and most likely hormonal intervention into cultivating a body, it reads different. Even when I'm not trying to be sexualized, and I have no issues with sexualized content if you've seen my X or Blue Sky or OnlyFans, I have no issues with sexualized content. But what is it like to be sexualized even when I'm not intending to be? We have such an interesting relationship with our bodies, especially in America, because on one hand, every single ad, every single billboard, every single social media influencer uses sex and bodies to get your attention. And yet, we're also told that we shouldn't do that. Our bodies should be covered. They're considered indecent. You couldn't go go out in society shirtless or naked. That would be, terrible. We're told, people tell me in the comments, your thoughts should have merit enough to stand on their own. Put on a shirt and see if people will still listen. And I love that idea. I love that idea of merit is worthy of attention. But that's not really the world we live in, is it? Because if that were true, then people would be judged by the size of their character rather than the size of their biceps. But that's not how the world works, does it? I remember being very confused as a young person because I didn't understand that me, when I was kind to other people, was not treated well. Well, that person who was an asshole but looked great was flattered. That somebody who has amazing abs is considered more worthy than somebody who has a fupa but is brilliant. That's the world we live in, isn't it? I get people saying to me, you're spiritual. You shouldn't care about your physical exterior. Why would you work so hard to change it? You should have felt like you were enough as you were. And I love that too. I agree wholeheartedly. But sometimes it's not enough. And this is something I can get on my high horse about. Like, yes, please, please, please do the inner work to find that you're enough. Because without that, it will never be enough. It doesn't matter how big or beautiful you are. It will never be enough if you don't do the inner work. There's fitness models who are afraid to leave the house if they eat a slice of pizza because they don't feel good enough. But the inverse can also be true. Sometimes you have to do the external work. If you're starving, don't just say this should be enough. Go and get food. Go get money. Do what you need to do to be okay. If you legitimately do not feel good about your body and you want to have cosmetic enhancements or hormonal intervention or get on a special diet, then do it. I objectively feel better about my body. I feel sexier and more whole and more safe in my body now than I did when I first started posting on social media. Being 235 feels a lot better than being 160 pounds. It does. And yes, you can say, Keelan, there's trauma there. And absolutely there is trauma. I was bullied the shit out of me every day of my life for being gangly and awkward and queer and neurodivergent. Do you know how much better it feels to feel safe in my body now? Do you know how much better it feels to look at myself in the mirror and find myself attractive in a way that I never used to feel to the same degree? To feel confident with another person that they're going to respect me because of my physical presence in a way that I didn't used to get? Fuck yeah. I'm very aware of that. But when you're spiritual, you're not supposed to care about those things. And when you're creating content about spirituality, you're not supposed to be drawing attention to your bulges. You're supposed to be beyond that. And that hits home for me, because for me, I have really come to believe that spiritual advancement is not about enlightenment or some altered state beyond the seventh realm of the fifth level of consciousness or some bullshit like that. It's about being human. It's about realizing that you chose to have a human life and to live it the way you wanted. To have a life where you say, I'm so lucky to be me. Because life is all about the love we share and the lessons we learn and the connections we forge. I don't think prestige or advancement and all those things matter too much, but that you lived a life that you feel good about. And if changing your body or being more embodied or having great sex brings you joy, then by all means, do it. But we're told that's not spiritual. I disagree. I think to be deeply human, fully alive, fully immersed in this human experience is the point. Not to transcend it, but to be it. And frankly, most of you guys, not all of you, but most of you are same gender loving men. If I showed up in a turtleneck or monk's robes, would you still pay attention? Would you still click? Because I can tell you, when I've been in gay spaces, you could have the most illuminated, brilliant spiritual teacher. But if they showed up in a monk's robe and a hood, you would not pay any attention to them. Meanwhile, somebody in a Speedo might get you to stop and talk to them. I've put a lot of energy in cultivating this body to make me feel good in my own skin. And I'm very aware of the fact that it gives me a certain level of privilege. And I try to use that privilege for good. Instead of using a body to intimidate or make others feel worthless, I try to make them feel empowered. I was on a gay cruise a few weeks ago, and anybody who wanted to talk to me, I would stop, make eye contact, affirm their value, listen to them, ask where they're from, ask how they're doing. Because I remember those times where I felt powerless, where I felt like somebody had more than me in some regard of any kind. And they actually stopped and saw me and valued me and spoke with me. How it made me feel empowered. I think our lives are better through the love and attention and focus that we share, that we see each other and share with each other and love with each other. And so if I can use this body to get you to engage more, then I'm going to use it. If I can use it to help you feel more embodied, more enjoyable about your experience, or think that something more is possible for you than you currently believe, then I am going to do it. And if it is as simple as me showing up this way gets you to pause scrolling and actually listen for a few minutes, then fuck, I'm going to do it. Because you can have the brightest ideas of the world, but if no one hears them, what value do they have? I think it's silly to think that ideas should stand on merit alone when every idea arrives through a body of some kind, especially in today's environment, where, like, I love a book, but this world has become less and less written and more visual. Jesus had a body, Buddha had a body, everyone has had a body. And that body is the vehicle. But it's complex too, because I also have nostalgia. I have nostalgia for the fact that when I was 160 pounds showing up naked on YouTube with a little blur over my vital bits, it read in some ways as transgressive. Where now it sometimes just reads like showing off, and it is what it is. I wouldn't go back. I'm so grateful for what I've cultivated. But things are different now. But the thing I want us all to realize is that life is messy. There's seldom clean-cut answers. Things are nuanced. It's never just one thing or another, but that is the beauty of the human experience. And so yes, me showing up like this is contradictory, it's confusing, it's titillating, and also sacred. But so is the human experience. It's messy. I always try to share my vulnerable self with you and to say, yeah, I've been on hormones for 3 years because my puberty actually didn't go the way it should have, and now I'm finally catching up to what should have happened had I had the proper hormonal support at that time. Yeah, I wanted to cultivate a more hypermasculine presence because it makes me feel turned on in myself. It makes me feel safe and respected in a world that often mets out respect with teaspoons, where people have to fight to be valued. And yet at the same time very firmly believe that it is a person's character that should be the reason we judge someone well, not their exterior. So it's fucking complex. So if anything in me sharing this, hopefully I've inspired you to just be a little more kind with yourself, in your own contradictoriness, in your own messiness and living in the human experience. And to invite you to say, this life is yours to lead. Don't have any regrets. Don't censor yourself because it's not polite or good or spiritual. Allow yourself to have the life you want so you look back and say, I've made mistakes, but I'm proud of the choices I've made. I'm proud of the life I've lived. And I explored what I wanted to explore, even if it wasn't the assumed path. So much love for you guys.